Good morning, students. Hope you are all well and fine. Today I will discuss the previous topic, brachial plexus. I already told you the formation of brachial plexus, and today I will tell you something more information on brachial plexus and particularly its branches. And I think all of you have learned the brachial plexus very well, and you have visited my video also, the brachial plexus part 1. Anyway, today I will give you some more information on brachial plexus. But before that, let us just repeat the previous topic, that is the formation of brachial plexus, in a very short form, not in detail. And you all know the brachial plexus is formed by the anterior rami, or rather root of the C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 spinal nerves, and both C5 to C8, all the anterior rami of these spinal nerves contain both motor and sensory fibers. And these roots of C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1, again C5 and C6 join to form the upper trunk, C7 continues as the middle trunk, C8 and T1 join to form the lower trunk. So, upper trunk, middle trunk and lower trunk. And each trunk again divides into anterior division, the red color, and the posterior division is a green color, like this. So, all red are anterior division, and all these are posterior division. And the anterior division of upper trunk and anterior division of the middle trunk, they form one cord, that is called lateral cord. And the anterior division of the lower trunk will be continued as medial cord, MC, and the posterior division of all the three trunks, like this, they will form the posterior cord. So, altogether there are three cords: lateral cord, medial cord and posterior cord. There are so many branches from the different parts of the brachial plexus. That means the branches may be from the roots, maybe from the trunks, then from the divisions, and then from the cords. Then we will know the branches. That we will discuss in detail, the branches. One question may arise: there are 5 roots or 5 anterior rami from C5 to T1, and all these roots contain both sensory and motor fiber. The question may arise whether all these roots contain the equal number of nerve fibers or equal number of axons. Not right that. Some of these roots may contain highest number of fibers, some may contain lowest number of fibers. So, which one is highest number of fibers? The C7 and T8, these two, C7 and T8, they contain the highest number of fibers. And even the C8, this particular C8, this may contain about 30,000 myelinated axons. And C5 and T1, this C5 and T1, they contain lowest number of fibers, and the number may be from 15,000 to 20,000. And C6 fiber or C6 root contain in between these two. So, lowest may be 15,000 to 20,000, may be from C5 and T1, and highest from C7 and C8, and from C8 it is about 30,000 fibers. So, altogether brachial plexus including all the roots may contain 1,20,000 to 1,50,000 myelinated axons. So, these fibers may contain, or rather they must contain both the motor fibers and sensory fibers, but their contribution may be different. How? The C7, this particular root, they contribute mostly the sensory fibers, and the C5 and C8, these two, C5 and C8, these two contain mostly the motor fibers, because we know the brachial plexus supply the whole upper limb, the joints, muscles and the skin or cutaneous supply, and anterior aspect or flexor compartment of the upper limb supplied by all the anterior divisions, these anterior divisions, and the posterior aspect of the upper limb, that is the extensor compartment, supplied by the posterior division or the posterior cord. That we know. But today we will learn what are the branches from the different parts of the brachial plexus. So, you know now cords are lateral, medial and posterior. The names are given in respect to the relation to the second part of the axillary artery. That means, the second part of axillary artery lies behind the pectoralis minor muscle. In that area, these cords are related to second part of axillary artery as per their designation at lateral, medial and posterior. But one thing to remember that these names are sometimes misleading. When these cords are passing behind the clavicle into the axilla, before they are entering behind the pectoralis minor muscle in relation to the axillary artery, the relation may vary. The relations are not like that. And suppose if you see like this, LMP or here APL, these abbreviations, the lateral cord it is anterior, medial cord is posterior and posterior cord is lateral to the axillary artery before going to the second part. So, just below when it enters into the axilla, the relationship in relation to the axillary artery will be like this. So, you can remember like this, LMP, APL like this. That means LMP means you know licentiate medical practitioner or last menstrual period commonly used in obstetricians, obstetrics. APL above poverty line. In this way you can remember, or you can remember LA is Los Angeles, MP it is Madhya Pradesh and PL it is the Punjab of Ludhiana. Like this you can remember also. But when they reach close to the second part of axillary artery, this relationship becomes changed. Now, they are called medial, lateral, posterior in respect to the second part of axillary artery. That you know. Now, the branches. The branches may start from the roots, from the trunks, but from the divisions there are no branches. You remember this? From the division, neither anterior, posterior or any trunks having no branch from the division, no branch. But there are some branches from the roots. From the C5 root, one branch called dorsal scapular nerve, dorsal scapular or DS. this dorsal scapular root value will be C5 then. Then this nerve supplies the rhomboideus muscle and levator scapulae. C5. This is C5 root. Another from C5, it goes to join the phrenic nerve, the root value of which is C3, C4 and C5. This C5, it comes from the root of this one, C3, C4 and plus C5 from this C5. This is the phrenic nerve which supplies the diaphragm, you know. Then another nerve from C5, C6 and C7, these three, C5, C6 and C7. This nerve is named as nerve to serratus anterior or long thoracic nerve or nerve of Bell. Other nerves from the roots from C5, C6, C7 and C8. C5, C6, C7 and C8. These roots will supply the longus colli and scalene muscle. You know, the longus colli and scalene muscle supplied by C5 to C8 roots. So, all are the branches from the root. Then, in summary, what are the branches? Dorsal scapular, a branch to the phrenic nerve, C5, then C5, C6 and C7 from the nerve of Bell or long thoracic nerve supplying serratus anterior, and this one C5, C6, C7 and C8, these four roots supply the longus colli and scalene muscles. After this root, there are branches from the upper trunk as well. One is suprascapular, one is nerve to subclavius. Suprascapular, scapular, then nerve to subclavius. The suprascapular nerve will supply the supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscle, and nerve to subclavius, this nerve will supply the subclavius muscle. So, now these nerves, dorsal scapular, then long thoracic nerve, then suprascapular nerve, all these nerves, they supply the muscle which act on scapulothoracic articulation or thoracoscapular joint. But the branch of brachial plexus, they will supply the joints of the upper limb, shoulder joint, elbow joint, wrist joint, etc., and also muscles of the upper limb and skin of the upper limb. So, now you know the branches from the roots, branches from the trunks, because the lower trunk and middle trunk, they give rise no branches, only from the upper trunk 2 branches. Here you can see or observe there are these 2 roots, then this branch and this branch, and this division and this division. Together there are 6 branches, 2 roots C5, C6, their trunk, then branch suprascapular, nerve to subclavius, again 2 branch, and anterior division and posterior division, 2 branch. These 6 branches together at a point called Arp's point. Injury of this point may give rise to Arp's paralysis. Then come to the division, and already I told you there are no branches from the divisions. Then come to the chords, lateral chord, medial chord and posterior chord. From the lateral chord, again there are 3 branches. This is a lateral chord, 3 branches. One or first branch is lateral pectoral nerve, lateral pectoral. It is the first branch of the lateral cord, and the 2 terminal branches, one branch is called musculocutaneous and another branch called lateral root of median nerve. So, three branches. The lateral, then musculocutaneous, then lateral root of median nerve. Sorry, like this: lateral pectoral, musculocutaneous, and lateral root of median nerve. You may remember in many ways. How? Suppose I write this like L, 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 M. L, 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 M. L, L, M, M means, you know, the postgraduate degree for the law is L, L, M, Master of Laws. Or in other way also you can remember. Laila loves Mojnu. You see the first letter of these three words, L, L, M. L for lateral pectoral, this L for lateral root of median nerve, and this M for musculocutaneous nerve. In this way also you can remember, but you can prepare different mnemonics of your own style also. So, there are three branches. Now, it is, I think, clear. 1 and 2 and 3. Lateral pectoral and lateral root of median nerve and musculocutaneous nerve. Now, come to the medial cord. This medial cord, it gives rise to 5 branches. 5 branches, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. One is the M, 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 M and U. That means there are 4 M and 1 U. What are the 4 M? Medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, then medial root of median nerve. This is the lateral root of median nerve, this is medial root of median nerve, and another M, this one, and another U, this one. What is this one? This is medial pectoral and this is ulnar. Now, just revision: medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, medial root of the median nerve, medial pectoral nerve, lateral pectoral from lateral cord, medial pectoral from medial cord. Then ulnar nerve. It is a continuation of this one from the medial cord, ulnar nerve. Then we will come to the posterior cord. Before going to the posterior cord, if we discuss, or if I ask you, what may be the root value of this nerve or this nerve or this nerve? Very simple answer. These branches are coming from lateral cord. Lateral cord found by the anterior division of upper trunk and middle trunk. So, upper trunk means C5, C6 and middle trunk means C7. So, C5, C6 and C7 will be the root value of the lateral cord and will be the root value of the branches of the lateral cord. C5 and C6, this one, and C7 from this one. So, their lateral cord and its branches, their root value will be C5, C6 and C7, and you must tell anterior rami of C5, C6 and C7. And you are asked the root value of this one, that is medial cord, the root value is like this, that is from this one anterior division, that is C8 and T1. C8 and T1, then anterior division, so C8 and T1 will be the root value of the medial cord. But for the ulnar nerve, the C8 and T1 will be there, but in addition to this, there may be a twig or branch from the C7, this is C7, like this, from C7 may come to join C7, but it should be anterior division, not posterior, anterior division of C7. So, anterior division of C7, C8 and T1 to the root value of the ulnar nerve, but others 4, the root value will be C8 and T1 because they are coming from the anterior division of the lower trunk, which is found by the C8 and T1. In this way, you can remember the root values. Now come to the branch of the posterior cord, which is very important because posterior cord having so many branches, and of which the largest branch of the brachial plexus is the radial nerve, which is one of the branches from the posterior cord. Let us see what are the branches from the posterior cord. What are the branches? We can remember in this way. You write ulnar, U L N A R, ulnar. U for upper subscapular, E for upper subscapular, L for lower subscapular, N for nerve to latissimus dorsi or called thoracodorsal nerve, A for axillary nerve, and R for radial nerve. So, radial and axillary are the terminal branches of the posterior cord, of which radial nerve is the largest of all these nerves. But their root value will not be like that of C8 from all the roots, C5 to C8, all the roots will form the posterior cord. You see, this is this green one coming from C5, C6, this green one coming from C7, and this green one coming from C8, T1. So, the root value of posterior cord will be C5 to T1, all the roots, but their branches may not contain fibers from all the roots. How? Suppose the upper subscapular, lower subscapular, axillary nerve, they are having the root value of C5 and C6, C5 and C6, C5, C6, C5, C6, this is C5, C6, C7, but radial nerve C5 to T1, all the components. That means when this nerve coming from the posterior cord, they are getting the fibers from C5 and C6 only. That means this one, this is the fiber, this green one having C5 and C6, this fiber C7, this fiber C8 and T1. So, this fiber particularly going to supply this one, the lower subscapular and also axillary nerve, this way. But when they will supply the nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve, they will come like C5, C6 and also from the C7. But the radial nerve, all the branches coming from C5 to T1, all the branches will form the radial nerve. So, the root value will be the anterior rami of C5 to T1 spinal nerves, root value of axillary nerve, anterior rami of C5 and C6, like this. So, it is very easy to remember from where they are coming and how they are formed. So, it does not mean in this particular side you can see all the nerves may not be formed by all the components of the posterior cords. Some of the components will form some of the nerves like this. So, in a nutshell, if we again repeat or give you a take home message for the branches of the brachial plexus, the branches from the roots are dorsal scapular, branch to phrenic nerve, then nerve to the or long thoracic nerve, and branches to the C5 to C8 longus coeli and scalene muscles. From the upper trunk, suprascapular nerve supplying supraspinatus and infraspinatus, and nerve to subclavius supplying the subclavius muscle. No branch from middle trunk or lower trunk. Then divisions from no branch from any divisions. Then come to the cord. From the lateral cord, 3 branches: lateral pectoral, lateral root of median nerve and musculocutaneous nerve, Laila, Laps, Mojnu or LLM. Then come to the medial cord. Medial cord 4M, 1U. M for U. M 4M means one is medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, medial root of median nerve and medial pectoral nerve. And the continuation is the ulnar nerve, which the root value of all the branches is C8 and T1, but for the ulnar nerve it is C7, C8 and T1. And the branches from the posterior cord, there are 5 branches: upper subscapular, lower subscapular, nerve to latissimus dorsi or thoracodorsal nerve, axillary nerve and radial nerve. And radial nerve is the largest branch of the posterior cord. So, I think it is clear to you, but if you feel any doubt, you can write me in comment box, and next time we will discuss some other topic, or any queries are there on the brachial plexus I can discuss in the next video. So, till then, thank you to all.